Hi everyone, welcome to the feedback video for the business report for your half yearly. I'll go through the actual business report first and then we'll get to how we're going to do this feedback. You may have noticed that when you looked at the business report in the exam that it does look a little bit different to most other business reports that you would have seen in past papers, in that there's a fair bit of data and statistics in the case study rather than words, I suppose. So let's read through it again just to familiarise yourself with what it actually was. The table below shows data for Better Place Catering, a small business. It has a high-profile chef and the food is of excellent quality. It is looking to secure more bookings for future events. Note that here it says the table below shows data for Better Place Catering. So although it says David's there, you should know that it's exactly the same thing, David's or BPC. Better Place Catering. And then down the bottom here, Gantz Catering is considering a potential merger with BPC. As an experienced business consultant, you have been asked to write a business report in which you outline the importance of the strategic role of operations management, discuss the influence of quality expectations and legal regulations on Better Place Catering, explain how Better Place Catering can use comparative ratio analysis to ensure continual success. Right, the cohort average was 11.4. Now, last year's average for Section 3, the business report in the HSC, was 12. So we are tracking just a little bit below where we should be, and that should be a real motivator to you that we need to get this average up to match the rest of the state. So there is a fair bit of work to do over the next couple of terms, but by no means is it impossible. Let's go back to this business report, and side by side I'm going to put the syllabus, because a lot of you got the syllabus wrong or didn't know, I suppose, what you were talking about. You just didn't know the syllabus well enough. So let's look at this first one. Outline the importance of the strategic role of operations management. There was a lot of fluff in this section. I could tell a lot of people had no idea what they were talking about. It was very clear in the syllabus. If we go on the right hand side here, strategic role of operations management, you should have been talking about cost leadership and good service differentiation. That should be vitally clear if you know your syllabus, and that's why we constantly tell you you need to know your syllabus. The next part of the business report discuss the influence of quality expectations and legal regulations on Better Place Catering. Right, they were obviously influences coming from this part of the syllabus. So we've got quality expectations and we have legal regulations. Now, those two headings have actually been given to you, so that part of the business report was quite nice. The next one, a lot of people also didn't know their syllabus. Explain how Better Place Catering can use comparative ratio analysis to ensure continual success. Now, these first two dot points here tested or assessed operations. This next part of the business report, I'm sorry, I've scrolled the wrong way. This next part of the business report, this dot point here, assesses a part in the finance syllabus, which for a lot of people, they did not know. And it's a small part of the finance syllabus that a lot of kids seem to forget about. Here it is here. Comparative ratio analysis over different time periods against standards with similar businesses. If you wanted an A in this particular section, you really needed to talk about all three. And that's why not many people, as well as other reasons, but that's why not many people actually received an A for this particular section. Most of you don't know these three off by heart. Most of you mentioned at least one of them, but not a lot of you knew each one off by heart. So that's something to really be aware of. The feedback will basically run in this way. Step 1, I want you to stop the video now and read over your business report closely. Make sure you read all of the feedback I've given to you. It is the most valuable feedback you'll get because it's been personally tailored to you. And before we even take any steps further, I really want you to be aware of what you actually wrote and what I wrote as feedback. So stop the video now and do that and then come back. Okay, so by now you should have read your business report. Fantastic. We're going to resume the video. Please note, the feedback for this business report will consist of 3 main components: general feedback from me, student samples, and feedback activities completed by you. First section. Outline the importance of the strategic role of operations management. In general, you did not know enough about this particular dot point. Many of you tried to fluff your way through by just throwing operations terminology at me and hoping that it would get you some marks. It did get you some marks, but it was by no means going to get you a B or an A. The really good report clearly identified cost leadership and good service differentiation as the key focus areas directly from the syllabus, and they took it from there. The best responses for this section clearly define cost leadership and good service differentiation, and then clearly and succinctly outlined why it is so important to BPC, and that really was the key. I've got a student sample here for you because they do it really, really well. I'd like you to read through it. I'll read through it with you also. Cost leadership refers to having the lowest costs or being the most price competitive across the industry. Double tick, because straight away I know that they know what they are talking about and they know what cost leadership is. Fantastic. Achieving cost leadership is essential in remaining relevant as a business and upholding a positive reputation in the area of costs. And then here they've got all these reasons why cost leadership is so important to BPC. Brilliant. Okay, and look at the layout, can I just say. We've got a little brainstorm kind of diagram here. It makes it nice and easy for me to read. Second one, good service differentiation. Differentiating products being sold allows businesses to stand out across the industry. Better Place Catering would highly benefit from producing new products or services to attract customers. This way, the business will not be disadvantaged when competitors in the industry also utilise this strategic role of differentiation. Okay, good. Once again, I'm aware that they know what good service differentiation actually is, and already they have started to deal with this. Why is it so important to BPC? They throw in another diagram. These are all reasons why it's so important, and that is an A for that particular section. It's not overly long. It's not overly complex. It's nicely set out. It's clear. It's succinct. It's not complicated. It's to the point. So far, they're tracking for an A. Brilliant. Stop the video now and complete this for me, please. Now go back to your business report. On a scale of 1 to 10, be honest with yourself. How confident were you with this section of the report? And based off that student sample here, plus the feedback I've given you up here, plus the feedback in your own business report, write down some strengths of your business report for this section and what needs improving for this particular section. Pause the video, take a couple of minutes to do that, and then come back. All right, beautiful. That's the first section done. Second section, discuss. Discuss the influence of quality expectations and legal regulations on BPC. All right, these 2 dot points were actually given to you, but despite that, some students still confuse quality expectations with quality management. They're talking about total quality management, quality assurance, quality control, and I was just sitting there going, this isn't needed. Quality expectations is something totally different. The directive term was discuss. Discuss means identifying points for and or against. Many students recommended, they explained, and they even just described. That isn't what you needed to do. You needed to discuss. They are paying you money as a professional business consultant to discuss this particular point. They don't want you to recommend. They don't want you to explain or describe. They want you to discuss, and that is very important. Business reports are best when they are clear, logical, and cohesive. This section was no different. Clearly define the influence, provide a detailed discussion of the influence on BPC. The better responses were those that had been drawn out, and I'm going to show you that in a second. Many students use tables for this section. While it wasn't 100% necessary, great work if you're including a table, because once again it makes it nice and easy for me to read. Have a read through some of these advantages and disadvantages, and note that they're quite detailed and they have been drawn out. First one, complying by legal regulations ensures the safety of the business. Okay, good. That could actually probably be drawn out a little bit more, but there's still enough there. Allow businesses to appear responsible. For example, WHS protects workers. Okay, so for both of these examples here, you could probably take it a step further. You could, but they keep going. Food Standards Code ensures the food will be fresh and healthy as the business is provided with guidelines of storage and cookery methods. Overall, complying with legal regulations positively influences the business by giving them an edge about ensuring quality and safety of the good and service, improving the image of the business and attracting customers. Okay, good. They've drawn it out. Excellent. They do the same thing on the right-hand side. You can stop the video now and read each of those. But I want to show you another example of a student who did this really, really well. This one is about quality expectations. First off, they've got a brief definition of what quality expectations actually is, and now they launch into a table. There's a lot of ticks on this one because it was very good. By upholding high standards, BPC is providing the business with a good reputation, brilliant, in which it can lead to repeat customers and increased profit. Beautiful. A disadvantage though, if standards of the product or service are low for BBC, it may cause a bad reputation, putting a halt to new customers, I think that's what it says, and a decrease in sales. All right, good. So it can make it hard for them if their quality expectations are really, really high to maintain that standard, those standards. Back on the left-hand side, if products or services meet or uphold customer satisfaction, it is likely that customer loyalty will be formed, not only causing repeat customers, but ones who may bring new customers in which would and BPC in gaining more future bookings. Okay, it's a little bit lacks cohesiveness and clarity there, but I still understand what they're talking about. This one in particular has been drawn out really, really well. So well done. Both of those were an A, and just be aware they're two different student samples. So this particular student also included quality expectations, and this particular student also included legal regulations, and they were both of the same quality. It was sustained, and that's why both of those kids got an A for that particular section. So once again, stop the video and do exactly the same as what you did before. Go back to your business report, and on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident were you with this section of the report and your business report? What were its strengths and what needs improving for this particular section? Welcome back. Next one. Explain how Better Place Catering can use comparative ratio analysis to ensure continual success. All right, comparative ratio analysis is very clear in the syllabus. It states, over time, against industry averages and against similar businesses. Approximately 20% of the cohort referred to all three of these. So look around, 1 in 5 students referred to all three of these, which is a little bit concerning, to be honest with you. It indicates to us that you don't know your syllabus in enough detail. You're lucky, you got 2 terms to go, but time is cracking. You need to know these things. You needed to refer to data from the stimulus and then explain how BPC could use this to improve their business. I'll show you a student sample in a moment. Now, this is what a lot of kids didn't do enough of, because if I go back to the business report up here, like I said before, most of the stuff given to you in the case study, in the scenario, is data. So you would think that if ever you are going to refer to these statistics, it is going to be in this particular section down here, comparative ratio analysis. But despite that, not many students properly referred to the data which was given to them. And that means if you look at the marking criteria, when there's the section there for uses the hypothetical business scenario, if you haven't referred to the data from the case study, from the scenario, I can't give you an A or even a B for that particular outcome. Makes it very hard. Have a look at this student sample, because while they start off pretty poorly, well, not poorly, but just there are no stats in this particular paragraph, I'd like you to compare it to this one underneath here. Now, I'm not going to read it all out to you over the video now, because you need to read it pretty carefully, but compare this opening paragraph here to this second paragraph here, and note the feedback that I've provided this particular student, and then please answer this question down here. What has this student done well, and what can they improve on? Because I'll just give you a hint. The second paragraph is really what we're looking for. The first paragraph, it's a little bit too repetitive and it doesn't have many stats in it. So pause the video and read the student samples, please. Okay. And just on that note, now that you've come back to the video, this particular section here is pretty much as good as it got for most kids in the grade. And I really wanted to compare a really good paragraph to a poorer kind of paragraph to make that point that you need to be referring to stats which are given to you, information which is given to you in the scenario. So once again, go back to your business report, and on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident were you with this section of the report? Identify your strengths, what needs improving, and then come back to the video for me. Give yourself a couple of minutes. Okay, so overall, now I'd like you to consider the entire business report. How do you feel about the mark you received for section 3 of your half yearly? Out of these 15 faces, which one is you? And down the bottom here, what are the 3 most important things you have taken from the feedback process? Be honest with yourself. There is no point in completing this whole feedback process if you don't get something from it. If you are struggling with business reports in the future, this video will be made public and it's always available for you over the next 6 or 7 months. So please touch base and go back to it and make sure you are well aware of how to write a business report, because we need to improve. We really do. Our average as a cohort is only slightly below what the state average last year was, but even so, we really do need to improve. A quick shout out to one student in the grade who did top it. Out of 20, they received a 19 out of 20. So James Whittle, very well done. Your business report was excellent. Hard work is paying off. Lots of potential in a lot of your business reports, but also a whole lot of work. And your 3 teachers are here to support you, but really you need to start putting in a little bit more, I think, because a lot of students just didn't or weren't confident enough with what they were writing, and that comes back to you don't know your stuff. All right. Thanks a lot.